and especially somebody who cares about people and is willing to talk to anybody here. And so it's with great joy that I get to introduce our Mayor, Andy Cook.
Thank you, Eric. That was very kind of you. Thank you. You know, if you got your hair cut at Tony's, you wouldn't run into people like that because Tony will give it to you directly. You know, and I go in there every month and I get fully adjusted by Tony and Chuck. So you might try that there. And you brought up the IU thing. I was waiting to, you know, who exactly did Purdue play last night? What was that?
Tom was there.
A great Division I team.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I brought up the IU thing, so had to do it. Hey, it's really great to see so many people here and have the opportunity to address you about our city once again. And you know, we usually do things a little bit differently in this city, you know. Don't quite maybe stick to the norm in some things. You know, most of the time with the state of the city, you're going to get a guy stand up here and they're going to tell you all the things that we've accomplished and all the things that we built and the tax rates and the budgets and everything we've accomplished. And if you want to look at some of those things, they're right there on the table in front of you in the little cards. Not that we're not proud of all those things, but many of them are things, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I mean, our staff's done a great job in bringing up all these new businesses that we see, and it's all part of what we're trying to do. But we're going to start out a little bit differently because, you know, quite often I hear from Superintendent Dr. Counselor-elect Keene that I border on the virtue of verbosity. So rather than listen to me talk the whole time, right, we're going to start out. I want to show you a video because I want you to see what some of our people are thinking about Westview, because I'm going to ask you to think about a lot of things coming forth. And just one other thing, please. This is the first time, and I think all the years I've done this, that my wife Barb has been here and just retired. Please. I'm a little nervous. Please don't embarrass me. You can't hurt me. So take a look at this, if you will. Pretty good. Pretty good cross section there, don't you think, of new people, old people, young people. Mayor full of hot air. The people talking about business, people talking about that heart and soul, and I want to spend some more time talking about that. But I want to thank Zach. Where's Zach? There he is. To the back room. Zach Burton, ladies and gentlemen, put that all together along with Aaron Murphy. By the way, Zach has also been appointed the head of our new aviation department. I want to thank you for our new helicopter. It's not very big. It's only about like this. You know, it's got a camera on it, but you'll see some pretty neat stuff coming out of that with Zach's creativeness. So, you know, I want to follow up on some of the physical things and then talk about how we can tie it all together. We finished up there talking a little bit about Grand Junction. I know there's a lot of questions. Where are we? When's it going to happen? What's it going to be? First of all, what it's going to be, it's going to be a thing, okay? It's something else that we're going to make. It's going to be a very, very special thing. I would challenge you to find what would be even a more beautiful and distinctive urban park in all of America. It's a pretty bold statement. But our Grand Junction Task Group has worked on this project for, gosh, over 8 years now. And they're kind of picky. I think they're working through their 4th designer right now. But the design firm, David Rubin, out of Philadelphia, they're finishing up right now the final design for the project. We should have really the finished product with all of the specs and all of that by the middle of this coming 16. But in the next few months, we'll get David Rubin back out here and we'll have him go over some of the very neat parts of what this park is going to be. And like some of our speakers have talked about, this park will be, Plaza is going to be a very special place because it's going to capitalize on the heart and the soul of the city and give that heart and soul a place to locate. And you already see some of the construction beginning there around Mill Street. We'll be working on that. See the homes have been cleared. We packed that gravel parking lot on the weekends, and now even during the week, this restaurant row begins to form. And there's even, a cornhole out there in the middle of that field right now. So Melody's all proud about that. But the park itself, I'm telling you, it will not be inexpensive. It's going to be about a $25 million project. And we will go about it, as I've always promised you, in a very financially responsible manner. We will show you a return on that investment, and we will not begin the project in earnest until we're comfortable that the finances are in place to do just that. Right now, our finance resources are all generated towards Grand Park, because that's kind of the mothership that's creating our economic development, obviously. But when you get a chance, come up and look at some of the models here. This is going to be kind of hard to do. I'm going to put this down just a second. If I can hold it together, first of all, simply a square grid, right? And in these designers' minds, and when I have David back, he can describe it much better in his way. But what this is, represents the grid of central Indiana. Our mile squares, right? And then this product breaks apart into 4 individual pieces that fit right back together again. And these are the 4 individual buildings that you'll see around Grand Park. And they're very unique in their construction. They're made out of glass, and all the way across the front of them, they're put together in a very unique way, is Indiana limestone. And the way that it's going to be presented, between the design and the way it works and the way it fits together and the lighting and the rest of the creativeness, I think you really like it. So we'll get David back, give his presentation on how he came about this. The latest design is up here in some of the buildings, so take a look at it. Yeah, it's going to be a place. It's going to be a place for what is making the city. We talked about, of course, the other thing, Grand Park, what it is that it's contributing economically. Yes, it is a success. Yes, we are seeing millions and millions of dollars of investment by the private sector in the city of Westfield that simply would not have happened. You know the facts right now that our visitors spent over $43 million, and I'm sure it's going to be way north of that this year. And when our indoor buildings open, the Jonathan Byrd Fieldhouse will open January 2nd, and the indoor sports building that Holiday is building will open in June, right, Chris? Yes, And those buildings, of course, will add a huge resource to Grand Park. Adds to that 12-month need that we have. But it's not only an economic piece for us. Sure, our people are very proud of us, and that's great. But it also adds an avenue of opportunity for us to introduce all of our literally millions of visitors to this thing called Westfield. so that our visitors can see that we're more than just a city of things. And one of the avenues that we're pursuing that with is, when you walked in, you saw some people in some orange shirts. And I think many of you were given a, what's it called? What? USB. I don't know, you plug it into the computer. Okay. That's a new website. WestfieldWelcomes.com. And yes, we have a city website, and Mark and the schools have a school website. But we were talking one day, and we decided, working with Mark, that wouldn't it be neat if we had kind of a joint website that was a little more fun and playful, so to speak, than on our city website we've got all the agendas and all that, all the histories and all that. But this website could be much more informative to people that are considering looking at Westfield schools, what's going on in Westfield. And yeah, cities have that, but no city has the kind of amenities that we have in North Ames. And if we can lure people to look at Graham Park when they're visiting here, hey, let's take the next step and really kind of, what's Westfield about? There's got to be, and who said it on the thing? Betsy, I think it was you. There's something special going on here. Isn't that what you said? And through the Westfield Welcome, it started out really just as a group seeking volunteers and looking to indoctrinate our visitors with our businesses. And that's using a lot of volunteers, like Mrs. Kirchner. And Michelle Kirchner is working very hard on that. But it's evolved into more. It's evolved more about truly marketing this place with its heart and with its soul. And the special part of Westfield is, it's hard to grasp until you really start digging at it. And why not use Graham Park as a teaser for all these people visiting here, literally from across the world, folks. You know that. We have visitors from across the world here taking a look. And we want them to look deeper than just a soccer field. Westfield Welcome is accomplishing that. All right, I want to throw out kind of some next steps. I want to throw out some ideas. Some of them might be a little wacky. But I want 3 things I'd like for you to think about. As we further develop our city, I would like for us to consider looking at a common civic center here in downtown Westfield. I don't know exactly what that would be, where that would be. In fact, our Hoover Commission, Councilor Steve Hoover, one of their charges are in the next few months is to better refine the master plan for the downtown and the uses downtown. Where are we going to look at the residential? We kind of know where the restaurant district's going. Where would we have a civic plaza? Where do we account for our historical district? And out of that, I'd really like for us to think about, okay, could we, and maybe after I'm gone, but could we develop a building that would help to emphasize the basis of what we're talking about? Can we put things together? Can we put a city hall together with our township offices? We're beginning to work a lot of things together with the township and the parks. Could the relief projects that the township work on, that goes right hand in hand with our youth assistance program. Let's put those together. Could we perhaps, and some of these people I haven't even talked to, so these are wild ideas, don't come running up with rumors, the mayor said such and such, moving here and there, but hey, we could have open doors maybe, and I know they're looking at other property, but that's okay. Our school administration, our library, down the road, folks. Places for our civic groups, our Rotary Club and our Kiwanis Club, and perhaps the Heart and Soul Clinic and all the other wonderful things that are going on in Westfield. Wouldn't that be kind of neat to put all that together in one spot downtown? It says, hey, this is what Westfield's about. Think about it. Second thing I'd like for you to think about, on a very serious note, is something that, I'll tell you right up front, it's gonna cost you a little more money. Oh my God. A politician said it's gonna cost you more money? Strike me down. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to ask our council this year to consider raising our local option income tax by a small amount to provide the needed funds that we need for our public safety programs, police and fire. Let me tell you why. In this growing city, as quickly as we're going, we are unable, really manpower-wise, to keep up with our needs. And here's what I don't want to lose. Right now, our cops and our fire guys do an excellent job of the big P word, prevention. Just like our youth assistance program, prevention. We know it works with youth. We're doing it here in Westfield. It's now spread to Hamilton County. We're putting almost half as many kids in the legal system that we put in 5 years ago. Is it working? Yeah, prevention works. That isn't normal government. Normal government looks at our social issues, what do they do with it? They throw money at it, a couple Band-Aids, and we'll worry about it later. Marion County, hate to say it, but you know, we cannot let what's going on in Marion County continue to march north. So how do we do it? We work hard at prevention. Just like our cops and our fire guys are doing right now. They hate it when I say this. But when's the last time we had a major fire in Westfield? You know why? Because those guys work at prevention. Those guys inspect our buildings. They familiarize themselves with the building so things don't get out of hand. And our cops, they have the luxury of working at prevention. Ask Chief Rush. He'll tell you coming from Speedway what happens when you have to work from reaction. We have the luxury right now of staying ahead of crime. The crime's dropping. Our accidents are dropping. For those of you that got tickets out on 31 during the construction phase, sorry. But have you ever seen a major 4-year project go the whole time? I don't think we had one accident out there in major consequences. And we certainly did not lose any construction workers' lives. And they are very fortunate of that. Why? Because of prevention. So I'm going to ask us to cough up a few extra bucks. Could be $10, could be $20 a month. Your cable bill's probably going up more than that. But we need to stay ahead with crime. And we have the opportunity to do it. I'm going to ask you to think about that. The last thing that I want you to think about, we touched on there in the end of the video. You know, probably the number one question I get, Mayor, how are we going to keep the small town feel? You know what? I'll be darned if I know. It's what everybody moves here for. It's what people love the size of our schools. So I'm going to ask our council, I'm going to ask our citizens to really think about this question. How big do you want this city to be? And how many cities in Indiana can even say that? Right now, if we build out every lot that's being built upon or going through the designing process, a rough number, don't hold me or Matthew to it, we'd be somewhere between, say, 60, 65, 70,000 people. We have the opportunity to be well over 100,000. Is that what you want? Because cities tout themselves and we grow. Oh, we're growing fast, we're growing fast. Well, really, is that all it's about? And you can't do that unless you've got an economic engine driver, which we have. You can't do that if we don't have quality schools. Because as we've said many, many times, why do people come here? Number one, school. Number two, Melody's Trails. And number three, Grand Park. So we've created these things, created a school system where obviously people want to be. We are seeing national recognition across the country from different groups of what little tiny Westfield has become. And it's become that because of much more than just its people, or than its things. It's all about its people. It's all about controlling the crime. It's all about working with the schools to create this unbelievable environment that we have here. So really, it comes down to this. Do we want to be known as that city at the junction of 31 and 32 that has a big soccer field? And that's it? I don't think so. I really think we want to develop an environment for our kids and our grandchildren where they can achieve well academically, athletically, great introduction of culture, theater, song, the arts council's working on some of that, keeping our history alive. Counselor A is working with some other people on developing a very unique business incubator. You know, you read about these all over. This one was going to be pretty neat. A lot different. Much more than a coffee pot and a whiteboard and a Wi-Fi, I can tell you that. Things, yes, but people behind them. I think we want to be recognized as much more than a place of things. So my goal is to take that, not only to be recognized that way across the state, but we have the opportunity, by bringing people in here from all over the world, literally, to be recognized across the country as the small city in America. All the roots are here right now to do it. And our people have already shown, hey, we'll get involved. We'll participate. We have the Grand Junction Task Group. Beck, you've been working on that for 8 years now. We've got the Downtown Westfield Association. How about the sports? You know, the sports commission's kind of come and gone. It's like, well, what'd you guys do? Well, yeah, we built the largest sports park in the country. All citizens. Our youth assistance program and its board of directors, all volunteers. Groups like the Hoover Commission, Councilor Steve Hoover, that gets a lot of our citizens involved, that give us great policy development on land use and other projects throughout the city. It is not just government doing these things. Spring Mill Station, the group out of 161st and Spring Mill that decided that, hey, it's time to look at this area and see what can we need to do as a community to see that we tell the government what we need to have done. Wow, that's a refreshing gig, right? The Village Farms right now is going through a very interesting process where it's one of our older neighborhoods, right? Doesn't have the sidewalks and the trails and some of the amenities in the neighborhood. And they're working with Matt Skelton and all his crew, a great number of volunteers there from Village Farms, and they're looking at how can we rejuvenate, for lack of a better term, an older neighborhood to keep its viability. And just like on the far west side, we've now got a group out there that's looking very carefully around. You know, there's some controversy on the golf course. It's going to be open again next year, I understand, on how that land use is going to work out there. And it's being driven by our own citizens, again, working with our own people. So, put it all together like this. If we can take all of these things and continue the interaction with our people, developing the top schools, addressing the social problems that other communities struggle with, looking at our land use planning, using our people. We can put that all together. Then that, ladies and gentlemen, is the state of the city. And that's the way it is in Westfield in 2015. So I really want to thank all of you for being here. Thanks to the Bridgewater Club. Julie, Thank you, President Dooley. Thank you all very much for putting on a wonderful affair, as you always do. Very special thank you to a guy that's not here today. He's taking some further training. Todd Bertrand is a guy that keeps me on the straight and narrow. A guy with this city's interest, believe me, greatly at heart. To our department heads, you guys have done a fabulous job. We don't acknowledge that enough. I think Jeremy Lawler came back from a national convention this week with other public works department, and he tried to beat around the bush a little bit, but what he's tried to tell me is, Mayor, these other cities got twice as many people as I've got my size. Congratulations, Jeremy. That's exactly what I want to do. And to all our employees, to our city council, thank you for all your support. Thank you for listening today. Think about those things, and good day.